Welcome to today's video, guys. I am super excited. We're putting the S15 together. Got a lot of new parts. A lot of preparation has gone into getting to this point. So now it's a fun part where we get to put all the shiny new parts on, maybe get the engine in, maybe get it started, maybe go do some, maybe get a little ambitious. Mike, you're about to put me in the mud. Stopping was not the, it took us like 17 tries to do this. I literally got ran over. He pulled me into the freaking, the wheel.
What are you doing?
Big skateboard company now.
Big
Yeah, lots of decks. Big deck guy. Got a
deck
huge deck collection.
Yeah, he's got a huge deck back.
All right, back to the shop. I gotta go to Mazworks. You don't need to film me anymore. Just don't hit the brakes or I'll kill you.
We're on fire.
Adam, you're here for this one. It's so interesting.
Oh God, guys, there's a fire. Not the floor. Oh gosh, should we have some sense of... eat it! Ah!
It really's gonna the floor.
Anyways, okay, moving on.
So last weekend we had our drop with the brand new track hats as well as the Lean Customs pins. I just wanted to thank you guys extra. I know you guys have been asking us for the track hats forever, and it was sick to see so many orders come in fast. We did stock up since it takes us so long to get them, so we do still have quite a bit left over in addition to a handful of these pins. And even though we just pretty much got back, the guys have already cranked out 90% of the orders, and they're able to accomplish that with the help of ShipStation. You guys have heard me talk about ShipStation before. In addition to us using them for years, they have been sponsoring these videos, showing us love back. And if you guys have an online store and you need to get orders out fast, ShipStation is the simplest way to manage, import, and ship your orders out for the least amount of money possible. You can import orders from pretty much any sales channel, and you get to take advantage of their deeply discounted rates and ship with any courier. You can automate shipping tasks, and the best thing is you can spend a lot less time shipping and a lot more time growing your business. And I know that if you guys aren't already familiar with ShipStation, don't use it on a daily basis, it is going to blow your mind. If you want to try it out and see what I'm talking about, you can get a 60-day free trial. All you gotta do is go to shipstation.com/AdamLZ. That's 2 months of free, no hassle, stress-free shipping at shipstation.com/AdamLZ. I want to give ShipStation a massive thank you for sponsoring this video. They're awesome. You guys are going to love it. Now you can go and make ship happen. Yo, look at this ice. Homies over at Coilover made me one of their beautiful rebuilt racks. If you aren't familiar with Coilover, it's kind of like a boutique drift shop. They make a lot of really cool SR parts, S chassis stuff. A lot of stuff that we're going to be using in the engine that I haven't showed you guys yet, but this rack is the first one that I've had them rebuild. And they modify it for drifting, so it's got slightly different internals in addition to being a fresh rebuild, with the powder coated candy purple stick. It comes with AN lines for the crossovers and then AN fittings, so that way we just need to get some AN lines for the power steering setup, and then everything will be brand new, nice, minty, and easy to service. These things are going to look so cool in the subframe. So I will be using a Mishimoto thermostatic sandwich plate for some oil cooler lines. I didn't run an oil cooler forever on my SR, and it seemed okay. Like, it never got too mad at me, but always a good idea to run one. I definitely probably cooked the oil in it a few times. I could tell when I was doing oil changes that it kind of lost its viscosity. So we're gonna do an oil cooler on this thing. I don't know if we'll have time to do it before the first event, but at least I'll have this all set up. You can obviously orient it whichever way works best with your lines, but I think for me, I'm gonna end up probably running like 45s down out of here. So I'm just gonna orient it vertically for now, and I can always change it after the fact. So I believe I talked about it before, but I'm gonna be using a 72 V-band housing for the G25 setup. Reason being, quick spool, small displacement. V-band always preferred just because of the ease of serviceability. You don't have to worry about turbo gaskets, and you can clock it however you need. I think I already explained, but this Artec manifold, which we sell in Drift HQ, comes with all different firings. So whichever turbo you're running, you let us know and we can give you the firing for your turbo. So it can suit different types of V-band flanges instead of being stuck to one. Kind of a neat feature. But anyway, I'm popping this turbo on now. I'm gonna fit the wastegate, and then I'm gonna finally put the lines on for good. Instead of putting them on, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off. Since this engine's going in, well, I guess in the same video. I was gonna say tomorrow, but y'all finna see it right now. I almost completely forgot to mention, you guys might have already seen this on my social media, but huge news, something that has been in the works for over 6 months now. It has been my dream to be able to stock Garrett turbos and be able to sell them to you guys, advise you on turbo setups. And Garrett is super exclusive in that they only allow a very few number of places to be a distributor for the Garrett brand. So you guys know I've been using Garrett turbos pretty much since the day I started drifting. Not only am I a huge fan of the Garrett products, but I've had them pretty much on all my builds and I've learned a lot of kind of different turbo sizing, what certain setups feel like. I've been able to compare them, and they have entrusted me to become a Garrett distributor. Now this was actually all going on before the Drift HQ deal even happened, but now of course Drift HQ is going to take over at that position and they will be the Garrett distributor. So what that means, not only can we sell a turbo to you guys, it won't be drop shipped. We will be carrying a massive amount of inventory here in Florida. There isn't another Southeast distributor. So if you're buying a turbo in the area, you'll get it faster if you order from us, and we're able to sell to shops that have a business certificate as any other distributor could. I got a lot of homies with shops. I know a lot of you guys are constantly needing turbos. All our stock is already live on the Drift HQ site, but if you have any questions or you need help getting a turbo setup figured out for you, I now can finally sell turbos to you guys officially. And I'm super stoked. Happy boy, more Go Fast parts. Turbo Smart Hypergate. I feel like I've told you guys 5 million times. The best flowing wastegate on the market. Also my favorite design, super easy to change the springs. You don't have those annoying banjo fittings that always get loose and make your car overboost and blow up.
Insert clip from Chaser here.
Look, I called it. The only problem is there's a little crush washer that I guarantee is missing now. Oh, of us on the side of the road?
Yeah.
Bro, that's and then the funny thing is too, we were talking about that at the last Clash Kickers, the same thing happened to Sean.
Yep.
But anyway, the homies from Down Under have been supporting the builds for a while now. Never had an issue. The way that these manifolds are designed, if you look at the orientation over on this side, it's pretty easy if you want to recirculate the wastegate into the downpipe. I kind of like the rotary, really raspy sound of an external wastegate as long as you have a top mount manifold SR. But if this was a bottom mount setup, I might veer on having it recirc just to be a little bit less rowdy. Who knows, maybe I'll do that eventually just to see what it sounds like, but I'll probably just dump it to atmosphere for now. So I'm assuming I would probably, if the downpipe's coming down like this, probably orient it something like this and then kind of follow the trail of the downpipe, but plenty of options. And the cool thing about these gates as well, you can pivot the bottom half 360 degrees to line the ports up exactly where you want to make sure you can get the setup perfect, run the lines how you need. I might end up doing normal vacuum lines on this, but we started using AN lines on the Chaser just for a little more safety in high heat environments, but at the same time I kind of like vacuum lines because then if something goes wrong, you don't need to remake AN lines on the side of the highway. We've all been there, done that, you know? All right guys, a little information for you on the coilovers we're gonna be using in this build. You guys know me, ain't nothing but BCs. On this build, we are doing BC's DS series drift spec. If you aren't familiar with the DS series, I know I try to explain it in every video. It's about like a $200 upcharge, and what it does is it changes the damper to a digressive damper. In layman's terms, what that would translate to you is that you get a little bit more low speed damping, so it feels like on turn in or on like initial feedback a little bit stiffer, while kind of tapering off up top. If you hit a bump, it's not super bouncy. So generally speaking, with the drift spec, the spring rate will be a little bit softer, but it'll still feel the same as if you had the standard BRs with a stiffer spring without the disadvantage of having a bumpy ride when you hit bumps and stuff. So I recommend it for a daily driver, for a track car, pretty much anyone getting a set of BCs. The DS is probably one of the biggest bangs for the buck. Sometimes too with the drift spec coilovers, you'll have a little bit longer shock anticipating a not super slammed ride height. But the beauty of it is you can pretty much custom tailor the spring rates, your ride height, whatever you need to do through a custom order with BC. Obviously, you guys know we can help you with that. So I always love when you guys send love our way and order coils through us. It's cool helping people spec out ride kits for their cars. So we'll pop this boy in and let's show you what we're gonna be running for knuckles on this. To a certain extent, I am trying to keep it as simple as possible on this build. These may look like average cut and shortened knuckles. I'll tell you, these are not your average knuckles. So these are brand new OEM S15 knuckles that Oka-chan welded for me himself. When I drove the Yashio factory cars over in Japan, I was blown away just by how good the steering feel was, how good the angle felt, how the Ackerman felt. Like everything about it felt right. It was simple. There's not a lot that you can really mess up with a cut and shortened knuckle, but getting the geometry right, lowering the pickup point, adjusting things, there's definitely a secret formula to getting it right. Oka-chan's an OG in the S chassis world. They don't call him the king of the S chassis for no reason. And he literally welded these himself for me. And Sam was telling me that he went as crazy as he possibly could with these because he wanted them to be as perfect as possible. And I'm super appreciative of everything that Oka-chan and Sam have done for me through Yashio Factory, through the other brands that work with them. And I'm stoked to be running his knuckles on the car. I do kind of wish, I feel like it would be cool to paint them pink. But they still look good. Fun fact for those of you with an S chassis, if you ever need to get a little more camber out of it and you don't have any adjustment on your top hat left, there's usually a little bit, like maybe a degree of camber that you can get out of pivoting this. And people have been known to kind of ovalize the holes on their coilover to get a little bit more camber out of it that way too. So kind of good fun. Got another care package from the homie Mike over at New JDM. Look at how good this looks. He did a little restoration on a cast for me with a clear GK cover. You can see how nice it looks inside. This, we're shining. Super pumped. It's always helping us out, helping us take the builds to the next level. Wow, looks so good.
C'est mute.
Johan's whipping up a bracket for the transmission. The homies over at Driveshaft Pro yet again came through all the way from California and got next day Driveshaft made and delivered. And it's not that simple for this setup either because of the fact that you have a flange on both sides. Wow, this is making a mess. Look at that. So they actually have to put a slip yoke like built in to the drive shaft itself. Fun fact, we do sell these on Drift HQ. We can help you custom order a shaft for your setup and assist in that process, but I'm trying to build out kind of like a catalog of all the different measurements and stuff. So this, what I hope will be a common swap if it works really well with the 335 iTrans. Now we have the data, so if you order one, you don't even need to take measurements. You could be proactive and you can order one because we have the measurements for my car. It's all ready to go. We're good.
You want to put it in or you want to leave it out?
We can leave it out because we have to still put the clutch on. We're waiting on one piece for the clutch, so this is unfortunately still in mock-up phase. Starting to figure out the routing for the GK Tech Hydro line kit. It's pretty cool, comes labeled. I've had to piece together my own kit before and it's a pain trying to figure out what fittings to use and everything. So it's all a cohesive kit, and I already explained why I did the like stock brake so I could have the handbrake along with the Willwood setup. Cool thing about these calipers too is that they have bleeders on both sides. So technically speaking, they're interchangeable between left and right. There's no, oh shit, I put the wrong caliper on the wrong side. We got new rotors, they just haven't come in yet. So just kind of mocking everything up and figuring it all out in place since it's already on the left while Johan makes the trans bracket. I'm gonna try to follow the stock handbrake lines. That'll make most sense. It's so nice working on a car where everything's all clean and nice and new. Before the engine goes back in the car, I don't know if I explained this before, but we were waiting on one last piece for the clutch, so it was just kind of mock-up phase. We're doing a Clutch Masters twin disc. I've run them in quite a few cars. I've had really good luck with them. It's a very nice, like, street-friendly clutch that still has good feel and can handle quite a bit of power. Johan's zapping that on. Unfortunately, Mazurks wasn't able to do the dual guides on this engine before it needed to get tuned, so I'm probably just going to do that down the road. So I'm just putting the stock stuff back in, cleaning it, and I'll put cams in this one, finish up the top end, hopefully right around the same time that it's going in the car.
When you said, oh God, guys, there's a fire. Not the floor. Oh gosh, should we have some sense of eat it? Anyways, here, moving on.